Welcome ladies and gentlemen to the 9th tutorial. In this tutorial we're going to create a bridge, and we're going to create a bridge from geometry. So in this tutorial we're going to use geometry to create, well, this bridge actually. And if you created the bridge, then you can fill in your lines with actually structures. So for example, I have my lines here, and now I can say, alright, I have a column from this point to here. I can fill in the whole bridge. You can see it's really small because it's a big bridge. Let's delete the component and let's delete our geometry. And this geometry is variable, and we're going to create it with Dynamo. So let's delete this. We're going to recreate it. And let's open Dynamo. Alright, we're in Dynamo. Let me just delete this. And let's get started with creating our bridge. The first thing what we need to know is if we want to create a bridge, the bridge is our object. And the first question that we need to answer is, what does the object need to do? So for example, in this tutorial, we're going to give the bridge, so in this example, we're going to give the bridge some parameters. That's what it needs to do, the object. And it needs to make the length, the width and the height a variable. So the bridge needs to get smaller or wider, and it needs to get higher or lower. And that's what we're gonna create first. So first we're gonna search for slider, because we are using numbers for it, because it's our dimensions. So we have a number slider, and a number slider allows you to get a number, and you can slide, as you can see, from 0 in my case to 100, and this is in millimeters, so pay attention to that. And if you hit this button over here with the arrow, I think it is, if you click on it, it opens a menu, and you can say, well, my minimum value should be, well, for example, 500, and my max value is, let's say, 100 meters, so it's 100,000 millimeters. And the step allows you how big the number increases with. So if I say 500 there, it will increase with a half meter every time I move this slider. So, if I move the slider, you can see 9,000, 10.5 meters, 14.5 meters, and you can go to your max value. So, and let's say this is our length, so bridge length. And we need to copy and paste them a couple times. So let's select it and copy it and paste it. And let's say this is our height variable. So height. And we want to have our width as well, because we want to maybe make it wider or smaller. So let's change this to width. Width. And accept. So these are our variables, and now we're going to create our bridge with those variables, of course. We are going to separate this in 3 steps. First we're going to make the left side, then the right side, and then the middle. So it becomes clearer if we advance to the script. The first thing what we're going to do is create a line from start and end point, and this line is our base point, or a baseline. It's creating a point, and this line needs a start and an end point. So we're going to create 2 points. So we search for point. And here we have point 1. This is our start point. The default value is 0 for all 3 axes. And we need to copy and paste it. And our endpoint is the length of our bridge. So we put it in the x variable, and the point in the endpoint for our line. And now we create a line somewhere in Dynamo. Let me just find our line. Where is my line? Alright, my computer crashed, so I just recreated the script. So we were here, we created our first line. This is our baseline. And this line indicates the start point of our bridge and the end point of our bridge, right in the top of my screen. And if I move our length, so I can only make it smaller right now, but let's say I want it 50 meter. You can also type a number in it. So let's say I want it 50 meter. You can see our endpoint moves with the length. So our endpoint is a variable. And that's because we coordinate of our endpoint is the length of our bridge. So now we need to create the arc of the bridge. And we're creating the arc of the bridge with a B-Spline. And a B-Spline, let me type it in the search entry. And we use this node for it. Create a B-Spline curve by interpolating between points. Alright, so what this does is it creates a B-Spline between 4 points, as you can see in the image. Let's select the node. And this node needs 4 points. So we need to create 2 extra points. And then we can connect our points to our B-Spline. Let me just move this a little bit up, like so. And let's copy and paste our point by coordinate 2 times, because we need 4 points. And another time. Alright. Now we need to create the Z value. The Z value is the height. As you can see in the image here, we have point 1, point 2, point 3, and point 4. And point 2 and 3 are in the air. And how are we going to create them? We can just say, alright, the height of our bridge. Let's put it in the Z direction and the other one as well. And let's see. Let's put it a little bit down. There are our points, as you can see. We've now point 1, point 2, point 3, and point 4. But before we connect it, we need to make sure these points have an offset of our base point. So we need to create an offset of our base point. Our base point is this one, and this is our second point in the air. So if you don't do that, let me give an example. If I type in list, because we need to make a list of our points. And we need 4 points, so we have 4 items. And point 1, let me just give it, point 1 is this point. Alright, the second point is this point. So what is that point? That's the bottom one, I think. Yes. If you select your point by coordinate, it gives an indicator where the point is. So this is our second point. And our third point should be this one. Yes. So this is our third point. And our fourth point is, of course, the end point. So let's connect it up. And let's connect 2 points in our B-Spline. And as you can see, it makes an arc. But this is not the arc that we need. Because if I turn it, you can see, this is our endpoint of the bridge, actually. And if I go up from it, let me just go to here. As you can see, the bridge is behind that point, and that's not what we want. So we need to move this point and this point more to the middle of our bridge, so more to here. After a little bit of an experiment, I came up that if you move it 1/4 of the length to the middle, then the B-Spline is created very nice, actually. So what we need to do is we need to have a divide node, divides. And we're going to divide our length to 4. So just double click on your screen and it will open a code block and type in the number 4. Connect it to the Y value, and this should be a division of our 50 meters by 4. So we need 12.5 meters, I think. Yes, as you can see, it returns 12.5 meters. So now we can use this to our X value of our points, our points that are in the air. So this point on the background and the other point. So let's change this X. You can see we get a really weird line. That's because I put it in the wrong point, because this is point 3, as you can see, it's over here. And it needs to be in this point over here. So let's change it to the other point. And now we have a really weird B-Spline. So all we need to do is we need to give the other point, or third point, an X direction. And this X direction needs to be 3/4 of our length. So an easy way to do this is you can do it multiply 3, or you can say a subtract. So we need take the total length and we subtract our fourth of it, like so, and we connect that to our X coordinate. of the point. And right now you can see in the background, it made a nice arc for our bridge. So what we need right now is we have our B-Spline, we have a list of points. Our first point is our start point, as in the background it's shown, it's on the left side. Our second point, let me get the point in the correct order. The second point is this point, so let's set it below the first point. This is the third point and our fourth point. Alright, let's make it nice, so let's move this over here. This one to the top. This one here. And there's one behind our list. Like so. And let's move this a little bit to our here. And let's move this a little bit so we still know what we are doing. Like so. So this is the beginning. Let me give a good view of our bridge to here. So this is what we've done. And the next thing what we need to do is to create supporters. So we need to create some columns inside from our top arc to the bottom line. And for this node, we're going to use an division from our curve. So we type in equal. And if you scroll down a bit, we have here a node points at equal chart length. And if we use this node, and this node allows us to get an equal amount of points on the curve with a division. The current value or the default value is 10. So for example, if I go to my B-Spline, I connect it. So it's making 11 segments and 10 points because our division is 10. So, and if we want to change this division, because this is maybe a variable, and I'm sorry, I forgot it to mention in the first section of the video. So let's just copy and paste our bridge height. And let's say here, bridge supporters. Supporters. Oh. Supports. Alright, accept. And if we divide this to the length, we have a number that indicates how many supporters we want in our bridge. So if we say here divide, the divide symbol, and we click on divide, and we say, alright, we have our total length. So our length is 50 meters. And we want every 10 meter, or every meter we want a supporter. So let's connect it to our divide. And then we have 50 points. So if we connect this output to our division, it will create 50 points on our arc. And if you want to increase the number, you can just use the slider or type in 110 meter. So we get 5 points. As you can see in the background of our bridge. And the answer is 5. So our division is 5 right now. Let me just move this over here. Like so. And now we need to know where our point is on the bottom. So we want to create, what we want to do is, let me zoom in. Get our bridge. We want to create a line from this point to the bottom of our line. So like so. This is what we need to create. And we're going to do that by using the x value of our point. Because in this tutorial we won't use that you can rotate your bridge or you can move it up and down from one side of the object. We're only creating the bridge, the geometry. So we can use the x variable from a point to indicate how far this point is out from this point. So for the example, let's type in point get. And the first thing that the entry gives us back is get the x component of a point. Well, that's what we need. And if we say the points from our equal chart length in the x, here we have the length, or the x value of our points. So you can see point 2 is on 25 meters. And that's exactly in the middle, so that should be that point. And now, so we're going to search for let me delete this, curve that point. Set curve that point. And we have a note somewhere here. Get the point at a particular short length of the curve from a given parameter location. No, not a parameter location. Get the point at a particular arc length along the curve. Yes, this is what we need. This allows us to give in a length, and for example the first number is almost 7 meters, and then it will create a point on the curve at 7 meters. So if we put it in our length, and we say the curve, and the bottom curve is this node, so representing this line, we can connect it up, and then you can see that it made our points at exactly the same x value of our top points. And if you go back to Revit, because this is you cannot see it on this picture really good, because I can, you know, rotate my bridge. So I don't know when it's straight above our top point. So let's go to Revit, where we can see it. Go to Revit and we say front view. You can see that it's exactly on top of each other. This one as well. And that's what we need. That's what we want. Because we don't want to have weird angles on our supporters. So let's go back. Close this one. And the next thing that we need to do is to create a line from this point to this point. So from the top of our arc to our bottom line. And, oh, sorry. We're using again point of a line by point, by start and end point, yes. And it doesn't really matter what's the start or end point. But you can connect your curve point at segment length and your curve point at equal chord length. So let's connect those to our start and end point. So in my example, I'm using point at segment length, that's my start point. And the equal chord length is my end point. And it created a line. And this is our first segment actually. So if let me just move this. Nice. Alright, so this is the right side of our bridge. Now we need the left side as well, because if we go to our bridge, this is our bridge. Oh. Let me say rotate. Whoa, sorry. If I rotate it, it's just one single line. And a bridge has a wide function. So we need to select all of our nodes, except for our input variables and our calculation we did in the front of it. And we can copy and paste it. And this represents the right side of the bridge. Or the left side, sorry. So we have the right side and the left side. The left side should be somewhere here. So how we're gonna achieve that is, first of all, bridge wide. Let's put it a little bit down. So let's say our bridge is 10 meters, like so. And we need to connect the bridge wide to the y direction of all of 4 points. So let's connect to the y direction. And you can see in the background, it already regens the other side of the bridge in a really weird angle, because we only connected 1 point. So we need to connect second point, the third point, and the fourth point, or last point. And as you can see right now in the background, it created our bridge. And we have now a right side and we have a left side. The only thing that we need to do in this tutorial is to create the middle side. So we want to have a support beam over here, we want to have one over here, and we want to have an X support beam. And I mean that by from this point right here to the upper point. And how we're going to do that is, first of all, let's create the beam line. So we need a line, and we can just say, all right, this is our start point, I think. No, these are the bottom ones. We need the top points. I think this one. Yes, you can see it in the background. They call it blue, and that indicates the point that you selected from your node. So if I select this node, you can see the bottom ones are blue, And if I select our B-Spline, you can see the arc turns in blue. So you know what you selected. So we need obviously this node, the output of this node. These are our points in the arc. And let's connect it to our line by start and end point in the end point. And our start point are the points from the other side. So let's go to the other side. It's over here. This is the top one. And if we select not this one, you can see it are the arc points again. And this is our start point. And now you can see in the background, it created our supporting beams from the left side to the right side, of the right side to the left side. It's just how you put in the end and the start point. Alright, and now we need to make our axis between the supported beams. So we need to copy and paste this twice. So copy paste and copy paste. And disconnect the start and end points. Like so. And what we need for this start point and end point is we need a start point of one side and the end point of the other side. But we need to create the line from this point to the top point. Oh, sorry. To the top point. So if we zoom in a bit. Whoa. So we want to create a line from here to there. So there's a node in the core and it's called rest of items. That's it. Remove the first item from the given list. Because our first point, this point, is the first item in our list, we can filter it out and then we can connect it to our line by start and end point. So let me show you what I mean. If I can move this node, please. Yes. So we need to connect our point to the list and delete this one. And now we can connect the rest of our list to the start point. And the end point should be this one. So this point is the end point. And as you can see, it created a diagonal line. And now we need to create the other diagonal line, so we get a cross. So we need to copy lists of rest items, copy and paste it, and connect your short points to it, please. All right. Let's connect it to the start point, and now our end point is from the top one. So the output of curved point at equal short length. And let's connect it to the endpoint. And as you can see, it made a cross between our open spaces. And if we zoom out a bit, we created our bridge right now. And go to here. And now we can also play with our length, width, height, and our supporters. So if I say, I want it wider. So let's make it wider, as you can see in the background. And I can also say I want it longer. It's making my bridge longer. And I can say I want it higher. Sometimes it gives really weird angles with your arc. But that's because you make it higher than the length is. So be aware of that. And I can say I want less or more supporters. So for example, right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 supporters. If I increase the number, 2 supporters, 1 supporter. And if I decrease the number, you get a lot more. And if I get to 500, you get a lot. So pay attention to that as well, because you can crash your Revit or your Dynamo with it if you have a low number. For example, if I say 0.1 here, and my length should be 100 meters, I get, well, what do I get? Almost 1 million lines. So pay attention to it. Do not make too many lines, because you can crash your computer. And that is the script actually. We now made a variable bridge. And the only thing that we need to do is to draw it in a Revit. So right now, if we want to draw a column, for example, we can't, because it won't snap on our geometry of our Dynamo file. So what we're gonna do is go back to Dynamo actually. And we're gonna create a big list of all our lines. So there are, I think, 9 items that we need to add, or 8 actually. Sorry, 9 items, but item 8 is the last one because you start at 0. And what we need to connect in this list is all our lines. So the first line that we made was our basic ground line. So how long the bridge is. So this is our first item. And the order doesn't really matter, but yeah, I like to have a nice order. Sorry, my mouse is really weird. This is our second. Oh no, our second line is the arc. So that's this one. Our first item, please click. Nice. Our third item should be our supporters. Yes, that's this one. Then we have the middle section. So the middle section, let's connect those up. And now we should have 3 items left, yes, for our other side. So our other side is first the supporters. Supporters are this one, yes. Supporters, our arc, and our baseline. Connected. Now we have a big list with all of our lines. You can see here. And we need to flatten it because we want one big list and not separate lists with separate lines. So let's go flatten. Flatten. And put the output of your list into the flatten node. And the only thing what we need to do right now is to say curve and model. Type it in the search entry and you can see here a node. Construct a Revit model curve element from a curve. So from a Revit curve we go to a model curve in Revit. And if we connect our list, our flattened list, to the input of the curve, and if we run it, yes, run complete, we go to our Revit file. You can see they're all green lines and these are Revit model lines. As you can see, I can select them. And now I can create my columns. So column from here to here, you can see it snaps. And those lines, and there's our column. It's a really small one, but it's just for the example. So let me delete the column. So, and now we can just fill in the bridge with all our components that we want. But we have our geometry. We have a structure. We know how we need to draw this bridge. And this is a really fast way actually to create a bridge or something else with hard or with difficult geometries. So you can use Dynamo for your difficult geometries. And this is just an example. You can do this with every geometry you want. You can even do this with a house. And that's it for this part of the video actually. So let me just save this file. Save, put this script in the description as usual, and there would be a link to our website where you can download the script. Now we can open a script that we made. No, don't save the changes. Creating bridge from our company, Your Ydea. Open, because we made it in Python. And the main reason for us to create Dynamo scripts in Python actually is because it's a lot faster. Sorry. I also use different inputs. I say I have a start height for the left side, for the right side. And let me just show you what I mean by that. And I have, of course, the 4 variables that we had in our previous script. So let me run this script. Run. As you can see, it generated a bridge, just like ours. But the only difference with our script is that I can say, all right, the start height left is different than the start height right. So let me just zoom out so we can see the whole bridge. And you can see what I mean. Let me just maybe rotate it a little bit, please. Like so. Alright, this should do it. And if I say start height left is higher, you can see that the bridge is not doing anything because it's on manual, of course, automatic. Alright, and if I now slide the slider, you will see one side's going up and the other side stays on the same point. And you can use this for if you have a bridge, for example, and this is the top of our mountain. Oh, well, all right, let's use a code block. This is the top of our mountain and the other side is lower. And as you can see, I can go higher and higher. So as you can see, we can create this. And we can also do it the other way, of course. So I can say, all right, the left side is on 0. The right side is 3.5 meters higher than the right side, or the left side, sorry. And that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to visit our website. See you next week. Bye bye.